Good afternoon to everyone present here, respected galaxy of intellectuals and all my dear friends. I, Shiny Goyal, student of PGDM batch 2021-23 of Jaipuria School of Business, is happy to introduce you all to the guest for the valedictory session. The most significant event in a student's life is the moment at which he gets blessed with the insightful learning from such eminent personalities that could alter the course of his or her life. Very rarely we come across such exemplary people who not only manage to keep ourselves on our toes with childlike excitement, but also make us yearn for more. Our speaker today is the living epitome of that. I will take this opportunity to invite our eminent marketing professor of Jaipuria School of Business, Professor U.M. Amin. Professor U.M. Amin brings along with him his 46 years of extensive experience, which not only is a fuel to energize his disciples, but also a useful learning bite in their kitty. Professor Amin is a former director at Center for Management Studies, Jamia Millia Islamia, New Delhi. Professor Amin has been teaching subjects that include strategic management, marketing management, and related electives such as advanced consumer behavior, B2B marketing, sales and distribution management for the last over 15 years. We request Professor Amin to kindly address the audience. Welcome, sir.
Amin sir, please unmute yourself. Amin sir.
Thank you, Shiny, for that very generous introduction. I don't think I deserve that, but in any case, thank you very much for the kind words. We are in the final leg of today's conclave. Professor Mohan Agarwal Sahab of Indo Gulf Marketing Association, Mr. Nitin Sharma, he's marketing leader, India and South Asia, BD Medical Pharma and Systems. And our very own Dr. Tapan Nayak Sahab, Director JSB, and Dr. Nitin Saxena, Coordinator for the conclave, which has been so admirably conducted to the precision. I welcome all the panelists, honorable panelists, to this concluding session. Dear faculty colleagues, and last not the least, very dear students of both the batches 2020-22 and 2021-23. We have had two very engaging sessions earlier on. A1 on marketing innovation in digital era and holistic marketing in the digital era, which has just concluded. For me personally, it has been highly enriching experience, and I'm sure it's been so for all other participants to this in this conclave. I would like to divide my short kind of presentation, which is not a formal presentation, but in two parts. And these two parts are around the two themes of the earlier panels, actually, and try and put in my humble thoughts around these two themes. We all know the overall theme is marketing disruptions in digital era. And I would rather like to extend it further and kind of rephrase it for my own convenience into reinventing marketing in digital era. And that's the need of the hour, and that is what flows from these two themes, actually. Disruption is not new. It has just got more intense. This disruption has always been there of different nature. And that sets the course for rethinking marketing. The digital disruption is probably still, in my opinion, still in its infancy, and I don't know with kind of emerging technologies which are on the horizon may possibly lead to far more disruptive disruptions in times to come, actually. And this will profoundly change the way how brands connect with buyers. And we are seeing it already happening in emerging technology area. However, most of the marketing is still stuck in traditional mindsets, if I may say so. It has evolved over time from the last century's product production orientations to sales orientation to marketing orientation, and if I may add, holistic marketing orientation. And I would like to coin another term as an extension is holistic digital marketing orientation. And that is what the present times are all about. Now, content marketing, as Mr. Faizan had been discussing in the earlier session, is the most critical aspect of modern marketing, and its focus naturally has always been customer. It's obvious that that we are in disruptive cycle right now. The world is chaotic, unpredictable, complex, to say the least. It's been a perfect storm, but I'm sure all of us can weather this storm and come out winners, hopefully. Over the past few years, we have seen fair share of disruptive forces in the form of COVID-19, and I'm sure we will be leaving it behind. Recession, and of course, social tensions. Digital disruption per se began with digital channels and digital devices. How it has evolved historically, as Dr. Nayak had right in the inaugural session had admirably captured from the onset of millennium when Facebook, when LinkedIn was launched, and then the entire evolution we have seen leading up to Snapchat and so on and so forth. So how organizations, and more specifically CMOs across organizations, need to take on the current and emerging challenges? In my opinion, there were 4 or 5 things which they should be addressing. A, act as visionary for the future of the company, because in my opinion, marketing is strategy and strategy is marketing. Building adaptive capabilities is what is called for. Integrate digital technologies naturally with the kind of digital disruption which you're witnessing. Tighten the alignment with sales function. Now that's something which probably is a new thought which is emerging in the marketing area. From marketing to sales, there's a perennial disconnect, so to say, and I've been seeing it in the industry over the last 3 or 4 decades. However, there is now a dire need for connecting marketing to sales function per se, because sales function selling takes over, from the picks up the threads from marketing. So that needs to be tightened. And lastly, take accountability naturally for the ROIs on marketing spending. Now, in the end of it all, with all digital disruption, etc., we are seeing, but I'm of the considered opinion that fundamentally, this is in this all maze of digitalization and so on and so forth, we really need to not to lose sight of the very fundamental of marketing function, and that is the customer need and the need to create value, customer value, in whatever the organization does, and deliver that value to the customer better than competitors, and that's the key. So much so about the first theme, and I would like to pick threads from where Dr. William Kohler left on holistic marketing concept or holistic marketing orientation, and connect also with Mr. Vinay Maheshwari when he talked about consumer behavior to human behavior. right? So from holistic marketing orientation to comprehensive consumer orientation, and then the new term possibly which struck me is holistic digital marketing orientation. Now, I would only just want to add and conclude after this is that holistic marketing orientation typically talks about matching the dimension of customer, competitor, and the company with the most fundamental activities which marketers perform in terms of value creation, communicating value, and delivering value. So you, on the one side, you have activities as dimension. On the other side, you have company, customer, and competitor. And that 3x3 matrix gives rise to 9 spaces. And each of these 9 spaces, you really need to bring in the digital technologies. And how do you really capture value from each of these spaces to be able to deliver overall superior customer value better than competitors is the key, in my opinion. And that is what my takeaway from the second theme, right? And with this, I'd like to finish, and thank you very much. And hand it over to Shani.
Wonderful to listen to you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for setting the tone of the valedictory session. We have with us Professor Mohanlal Agarwal, President of Indo Gulf Marketing Association, Dubai. He is the recipient of the UAE Golden Visa for Research Excellence. I invite you, sir, for enlightening us with your thought-provoking knowledge. Over to you, sir.
Thank you very much. I really, one of the things that I will always carry in today's summit is the fantastic, I would say, hosting by the students of this wonderful Jaipuria Institute. Each and everyone is just more marvelous than the other. And at some point of time, the words run out to say what to say in praise of you, in praise of your preparation, and in praise of your delivery, with the kind of speed, thoughtfulness that you're saying. And each and every word oozes with sincerity and deep admiration, which obviously pleases us the most, because that's the thing, that we all speakers and all, they look for. How do we handle this topic of discontinuities in marketing? First of all, we are very grateful that certain negative words now have lost their negativity and they have gone now into the positive realm. And one of them is discontinuity. It was a negative word, as if that something has been broken, and discontinuity was never liked. Everybody liked continuity. If you remember that even the ministers and others, when they seek for the second term or third term, they always use the term continuity. They never said that we would like to start now the second term with a discontinuity. They always say there is an unfinished agenda. Discontinuity shows that we have finished the old agenda, or at least that old agenda is no longer relevant and we need a new agenda. And that's how I think this wonderful thing has become. The second is which, Professor Nayak has very regularly and I would say meaningfully used today in several contexts, and that is disruption. Now, disruption was also a negative word. And this particular word also now has become a beautiful word. They say that some of the speakers and people whose profile I see, they write a disruptive leader. I mean, it is almost like somebody may say that I'm a terrorist leader and you're taking it like in a positive sense, if you know what I mean, So for me, this disruption again has become the need of today, and that is how it has become a positive word. So I really admire that the circle with which we began of negativity now has acquired a new aura of positivity, which that's why this disruption and this. The third is a demanding. Now, even the demanding customer was seen as a euphemism of a troublesome customer. A customer who's creating problems. So we will always say demanding customer. It's almost like coining new words for describing somebody's old habits. But even today, demanding customer also has become a positive word, a positive thing. And each and every company actually is saying, please make demands on us. Please tell us something that we would like to see. So this is one takeaway from this marketing summit, that words are not having the meaning they had once. Words are not having the kind of notoriety that they had once in the change context. In the change context, disruptive is good. In the change context, the discontinuity is good. In the change context, demanding customer is good for us. So how do we handle this particular thing in the digital era? There are many ways in which we can handle it. Let me give here the analogy of thermodynamics. Even though I'm not a person of science, but because I have never, studied science, I have all been a commerce student. So anything, in my family, when they show science, I just keep quiet, like Tilottama, that don't open your mouth, otherwise you will be considered a fool if you answer anything. So I just nod my head and just enjoy the conversation. But this particular analogy, I hope makes sense. If you do an experiment in the case of thermodynamics, which is all about science of energy and transference here or there. Sometimes these particular things are also taken analogy of what I call an ice in the hot water. Ice in the hot water. It is a kind of a contradictory. That how can you put ice into the hot water, or hot water and ice? How can they stay together? Here's the thing. In thermodynamics, when an ice cube, very cold ice cube, is immersed into the cold water, hot water, then this particular cube also becomes to some extent hot, starts melting, and thereafter it just immerses with the hot water that you have. But the area around the cube also gets hot to that particular thing. Do this experiment, which you will see. In other words, this entire body of water will not become hot, but that particular type where it is made, that also has the effect of the ice cube. Technologies are also like that. They are ice cubes into the hot water. Our hot water is our market, and this ice cube is the innovations, the technological breakthroughs, the technologies that are coming. For instance, let's take an example of this metaverse. Now, this metaverse is nothing but an integration of artificial reality, virtual reality, and mixed reality, in which we do not know whether we are talking to a real person or real person is talking to us, or in many ways they are almost like companions or friends of either the divorced husbands or the dejected people at home who are talking to these people through Google and all those where they ask questions, she answers, and then you say something, she says something, that kind of thing, conversation is going on. So to my mind, this metaverse itself is like a cube, ice cube into the hot water. It will definitely become a part of the hot water, but it will also make its changes. So it will not go without the impact, and such ice cubes will keep coming. So it is not the first time an ice cube has come or will not come, like IoT, Internet of Things, all those things were nothing but ice cubes into the hot water. And they emerge, immerse, and then they make changes. Let's take this example of metaverse a little bit. One of the biggest things that has been an impact of this is that the Facebook has become a metaverse, meta organization. It has now renamed itself, rebranded itself. For the last 6 months, there is no Facebook company, only the Metaverse. Other thing is, unfortunately, this particular company has lost a lot of value in the market in the last, I would say, more than 2 weeks or 3 weeks. And as a result, all of us are poorer because we have money with them or invested money. But the fact is that people are worried that how this company is handling this ice cube or various ice cubes into this. So again, it's going with the same idea of thermodynamics. Now, in this particular thing, one thing in which I'm sure will be a kind of, music to the ears of my good friend Dr. Nayak, and that will be, the invisible commerce. The invisible economics will also start happening. Like selling things during the games that the people are playing as a result of Metaverse. Second Life, so many other technologies now are using it, and in between they are selling things. So I'm sure the economist that our Dr. Tapan Nayak is, he will also need to talk about this particular thing at some point, that how this economics also can handle the invisible economics. We had heard invisible hand, but we had not seen invisible economics. So this will be another part that we will like.
Thank you. Thank you, sir.
Yes. So therefore, what I would like to say to all of you now, please move from the action, from the thought chain to the action chain. You have received the thoughts from wonderful speakers, everywhere from the world, different time zones. Your own chairman was absolutely awesome today when he talked about the various technologies shaping marketing and everything. So what should be the action agenda? Action agenda to me should not be just at your end, but also it should be at Jaipuria thing also. Number one, I strongly feel that there should be now a new elective on technology and marketing, or technologies and marketing, emerging technologies and marketing. All those things which we have seen, consumer behavior or advanced consumer behavior or marketing research, I'm not saying they are not required, they are required, but probably they can be merged, remerged, restructured so that they create space for new knowledge. They create a space for so like courses like CRM, courses like technologies in branding or in advertising. All of them, that should be number one action point in my opinion. Second thing in my opinion is, even though we have moved from or somewhere more, somewhere less, from virtual or online classes to physical, it is my very strong suggestion that it shouldn't be thrown all together. At least it should be blended. And blended means that, let's say there are 20 sessions, you continue 15 sessions or physical, but keep 1/3 for online experience also, because that has got some great value. And we do not know what will be the next time we will have to go back to this thing. So whatever we have learned, let us not throw away just because things have become better, or at least government thinks that it is better. So this is the second thing institutionally, which I would like to say. The third I would like to say here is that no course should be given to a single faculty. It should be team taught. This team could be of internal faculty members, or this also be internal and external faculty members. Reason being that we want to give you the best, and it is important that there are 2 faculty members for a course rather than 1. And I'm talking about all courses. I'm not referring to just one course of mine or Dr. Amin or anybody's. I'm saying please keep 2 instructors, because number one, instructors can also add value, and number 2, well, it brings fresh breath of thinking to others also, and you can handle that. On your level, at the level of the students, what is the action agenda I would like to suggest? For me, I think please do not just, even if you get a placement quickly, my wonderful compliments to you. But if you do not, for any reason, because it is not fitting your requirements, fitting your dreams, or one should never accept a job which is a misfit. It's better to look for or keep looking rather than taking this particular. In my opinion, that when you are in the search of a job because of your family situation or family pressure or peer pressure, I mean, first of all, the second thing can be handled, but third thing should be immediately handled. Peer pressure is the worst thing that can happen to you. Do what you want to do. So in that particular time, when you are searching or looking for the fit between you and your job, please do two things. Number one, please do some social internship. Social internship would mean here that go to the people, develop your empathy. The EPS model, which I was talking about of marketing. Develop some empathy, develop some very, very good work ethics of meeting people. Go to the hospital. I'm sure many people will like voluntary things. And in fact, I am not one of the bigger votaries.
We do have,
And
Dr.
if you do
Mohan,
have,
let me tell
please
you.
do that. It will
We
be
do have,
my,
and
yeah,
fortunately, these students have already gone through,
wonderful.
2 weeks social intensive program.
Absolutely, because this was the thing which I had started in 2006 when I was the director of JP's business school. First time in India when I started this social internship, where Kiran Bedi and others, they became a part of that thing. So that is one. And second thing which I would like to say, that please start some startup also. Startup is not a bad idea. Even though you are looking for job, that doesn't mean that you cannot develop your own business model and go for it, because this is the time of startups in India. Maybe you know this, maybe you don't know that 2021, India saw 51 unicorns. Unicorns are like those which are billionaire or going into that billionaire thing, and it is almost 100% more than in the previous year. And will you believe it, that almost 38 are waiting in the wings? Those people who are called sometimes gazelle, those who will become the unicorn in the next 2 years, or cheetah, who will become in the next 4 years the billionaires, or this unicorn. All those things are there. It is my very, very humble suggestion, please at least give it a try. It will make you a better manager, not just better entrepreneur, but better manager. So this is the thing that I would like to say in my humble, opportunity that I have received, thanks to Jaipuria in this valediction. Thank you, sir. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir, for your insightful thoughts. Coupled with an impressive background and being associated with several prestigious organizations, it is definitely not surprising to even say that Mr. Nitin Sharma stands strong on the pedestal of success. Mr. Sharma has had a dynamic career in the field of marketing. He has managed to conquer each position that he has landed in and worked as a catalyst to propel the respective organization forward. He has lent his expertise in the leading platform such as Dr. Reddy's Laboratory, IMS Health, and now at BD. Mr. Sharma is a beautiful culmination of multifaceted experience in carving business strategies, business development, marketing, and people management. I feel myself highly obliged on the behalf of the entire Jaipuria School of Business family to invite you, sir, on this magnetic platform of our International Marketing Conclave. We request you to kindly share your knowledge and wisdom with us. Over to you, sir.
Thank you so much, Shaini. Hope I'm audible.
Yes, sir.
A very good afternoon to all of you. It's my pleasure to be here. Thank you so much to Mr. Nitin, who have been interacting with me very closely over the past, I think, a couple of weeks. And also, I feel proud that I am representing a sector. I'll talk about the sector with which we get the interface when we don't have even the conscious, right? So healthcare is the sector which helps us land on the planet called Earth. And obviously, the exit is also through that. So over the next 10 minutes, I would like to show you a glimpse of how healthcare sector have embraced the digital way of marketing. Picking up the string from Dr. Tapan's address, where he chronologically walked us through the evolution of various digital and social media platforms which existed over 2 decades, and I was overwhelmed to hear the chronology, the way he was mentioning with the launch of LinkedIn until Instagram and on the likes of it, right? And every sector actually have leveraged this digital transformation like anything. However, healthcare as a sector has been an exception to this. And when I say that, it's a fact which is being existing in it's not something new which I'm unfolding. We have been laggards. The healthcare sector have been laggards in adopting the digital ways of marketing, and primarily because of few reasons which are beyond the marketers or the healthcare sectors per se control. And that being is primarily that the sector is a highly regulated sector, right? So there is a influencer in between. You can't promote a drug or a device which is to be implanted into a patient or to be consumed by a normal person or a patient directly to him. A doctor is the medium of that, right? Hence that regulation actually, I would say, becomes one of the roadblocks of the healthcare sector directly reaching out to the patient. But nonetheless, the route it's not that completely being ignored. Healthcare sector has also been trying various ways and means through patient education, disease awareness, creating the influx of the patients, increasing patient footfalls where they can come, or creating those kind of platforms where the patients and doctors can group together and discuss about the developments and concerns about various diseases. To name a few, like I'm sure all of you must have seen cervical cancer vaccination awareness program run by Pfizer's and Sanofi's of the world, thyroid awareness campaigns when thyroid was there, asthma, again, Amitabh Bachchan was the brand ambassador for Asthaline for so long, where the disease awareness was created. So, and those were the mediums, the way it has evolved. However, as they say, necessity is the mother of all inventions, and obviously clubbed with the external environmental factors and the evolving target audience, which actually is now more palatable and more adaptive to the current ways of marketing, specifically from the digital standpoint, has been the catalyst in accelerating these adoptions. Like we always, it's a cliche, but we always had sun over us, right? Since millions of years. But the need, necessity, and urgency of harnessing solar power, solar energy, has now gained that kind of acceptance and traction, because today we feel that there's going to be a dearth of energy, and we go on to harness the reusable and natural resources of energy. So likewise, past 2 years actually of this pandemic have accelerated the adoption of overall digital medium as marketing for within the digital sector. And just to give you a sense of a little bit of numbers, approximately 88% people looking online for their health information currently actually has the influence on the prescribing behavior also of the healthcare practitioner or to whomsoever they are consulting. So much so that we have seen in our experience that a learned patient who Googles or studies himself before even he lands up into the chamber of a doctor, he or she goes with well awareness of his disease, asks those targeted very right questions, and many a times he is even influenced the brand choice of a doctor. He reads those brands, that this is a brand which comes from a reputed organization, from a MNC or on the likes, and he makes the doctor prescribe that. So that much awareness is coming up, and it's not new, have been there, but again, I would say not very proactively curated, but it's more of proactive approach from the patient standpoint. However, owing to the pandemic, the overall sector has witnessed a few very specific ways of digital marketing which have seen gaining acceptance over the last especially 2 years. And I'll not touch upon all, but the top 4 or 5 of those where because the situation was healthcare professionals or the hospitals, the care providers, the pharma organizations are the ones whose work doesn't get done until unless they meet or see the healthcare setting, right? And the situation was like lockdown. sit at home. Now, how do you reach? How do you approach? How do you promote your brands? How do you keep that traction, which is required for the engine to be running, right? So in that situation, obviously a few of the existing stuff which gain traction, and few completely new ones which India, specifically from India standpoint, has never embraced upon. I'll touch upon a few. So a few you might have already heard, few might be completely new. SEO, as we all know, social engine optimization is again one of the techniques which have been existing in the digital space, leveraged very, very effectively by all the sectors, FMCG, apparels, and whatnot. However, SEO as well as the overall approach through SEO is one of the most smartest digital way or digital tactic to connect with your patients, with your end users, and the effective means is through websites, which ultimately leads to the lead generation. And then the connect also goes hand in hand. So SEO is something which we saw that got leveraged by the industry like anything. And again, just to attach a number to it, 70% of health related searches, in 70% of the search related health related searches, the first page which pops up actually influences the patients or the healthcare seekers decision. So which is again talks about itself that yes, that has led to a lot of influence on the patients or the end consumer's mind. PPC, again, PPC is something which as a new concept came into healthcare and gained traction over the last 2 years. So pay-per-click has also seen very effective, is also seen as a very effective tool to garner quality and relevant traffic towards your company or brand, specifically when it comes to B2B marketing or more than the B2C marketing, because there the gestation period as well as the overall life cycle is very, very different. And there is a data published which says that almost 7 million plus healthcare advertisers have invested around $10.1 billion in PPC mode of advertisement. And with a whooping ROI, if you look at the ROI also, the ROI of per click is the spend against the $3 spent, it generates an ROI of almost $1.6. So which again talks about that, yes, it is a very, very effective means of taking your messaging, taking your brands to the end consumer. Coming on to the next is social media marketing. We all know, we all heard about it. However, again, as I said, that social media marketing, because of its own constraint, have been limited entrenchment or inroads into the healthcare space. This has also seen a boom in the healthcare industry, owing to the fact that it provides a great way to connect with your patients. You might have experienced, most of us might have experienced, Government of India have developed a Facebook Messenger chatbot during this pandemic times that effectively answers the queries of patients or their relatives and directs the citizens to the right resources by counterfeiting any kind of misinformation or misleading facts which may lead to not usage of the right information. Again, coming on content marketing through blogs, through infographics, videos. So that has also gained a lot of traction. As high as 83% of healthcare organizations currently, which was less than 50% just 2 years ago. Just see the jump. It was less than 50%. Currently, it stands at around 83% of the healthcare organizations are leveraging the content marketing just to reach out to their target audiences. Last two, which are again the age-old mobile-based marketing, which is very, very specific app-based or location-based marketing has been there, and since the mobile phones have the highest reach, so that continues to remain the mainstay when it comes to the traditional ways of healthcare marketing in the digital space. And email marketing. Email marketing is again something which is leveraged by the healthcare marketing teams a lot, as high as around 74% of digital healthcare marketers feel that yes, this is one of the most effective way to connect with your right audience, because he's already one of your consumer and helps companies to build the brand. To sum it up, the way I look at it, I do not call it disruption. I heard very different views. about disruption and very interesting ones as well. So thanks again for inviting me here. But if you ask me, I call it eruption of marketing, right? Eruption of marketing, specifically in the healthcare industry, as if somebody has triggered or activated a dormant volcano, right? So those things were already existing. They're never leveraged to the extent they are now. Hence, it is more of eruption of marketing, eruption of a new marketing era with regards to the healthcare sector. And this evolution of digital marketing was always on cards. COVID has just accelerated the overall adoption of it to tell that industry that high time, healthcare guys, you are not aloof, right? You better need to adopt this. And more so, if you see currently our workforce and the future consumption group is more from millennials and Gen Z, right? Which understands this language, which resonates it with them the most. So I think going forward, I would say for healthcare industry, digital marketing per se is, I would not even call it as a very nascent state. It's a test and trial phase. So it has a huge future, and there is a lot of leap still needs to be made in adopting healthcare, digital marketing in the healthcare space. So thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for your words of wisdom. Now I invite Professor Tapan Kumar Nayak, Director, Jaipuria School of Business. He is an avid reader, researcher, and an academician in the field of economics, who is also having an experience of more than 19 years of teaching and research in the same. We welcome you, sir. Kindly grace us with your encouraging words.
Yeah, thank you, Shiny, once again. For me, I mean, this day was, full of learning. I should call this day as a learning day for me. I do not know about others, but for me personally, I believe that I have taken away a lot of things from the deliberation since morning, and this is a very tricky and difficult task for me to conclude, to have the concluding remarks at the end of this fabulous, International Marketing Conclave. Though, of course, I should thank Professor Amin, who has helped me a lot. He has almost summarized the whole conclave today. He has made my task easier. But let me tell you, Shiny, that I have also prepared a lot. I was listening to each and every one. In fact, I have written down, you can see the whole paper I have written down to give a concluding remarks, to be very serious. I mean, on a lighter note, I thought that, Nitin has taken a revenge on me, that to conclude the whole session. Okay, fine, joke apart, starting from the beginning, we had 4 different sessions, in fact. Okay, in the initial, we had a fabulous inaugural session, which was chaired by the chairman, Jaipuria School of Jaipuria Group of Educational Institutions, Mr. Sisir Jaipuria sir, who has candidly, discussed, candidly put forward its point of view, that according to him, that disruptions are happening in every sphere, almost in every sphere, but in marketing particularly, which is the theme of this conclave today. Then we had 2 eminent speakers from different time zones, one from Australia and another from Singapore, starting from Mr. Satya, the keynote speaker, the Vice President of Citi, Australia. He has stressed how marketing evolved from days of Philip Kotler's 4 P's, product, price, place, promotion, to, omni-channel days of marketing. And he also had highlighted that how, the digital and digital transformation, that consumer fast culture, customer fast culture. And he has also highlighted how to move from change to transformation. He has very beautifully portrayed that the difference between the change and the transformation by giving, very pertinent examples. And then moving to Miss Nadia, the chief guest of our conclave today, Miss Nadia from, Nestle Singapore. She has highlighted on the, key pillars on our roadmap, starting from data-driven product innovation to, digitalized omni-channel marketing systems. He has also emphasized on how consumer behavior is changing very fast in the digital and omnichannel environment. Okay, and this is fabulously being, trapped in this particular marketing conclave today, and how quickly disruptions are happening almost in every sphere, almost in every environment. But Dr. Nitin has found it very pertinent today to tap it into the marketing domain. Okay, now moving to the first panel discussion, we had 4 eminent speakers on table, Mr. Sudhir Dutsi from UL and Mr. Patel from Morgan Franklin, Washington, US. Then Dr. Das from IIM Lucknow and Dr. Rishi from CSA Academy, Government of India. Mr. Dutsi had shared his idea on moments of truth, which I like the most. The moments of truth on digital transformation, followed by Mr. Patel, whom I know and we embrace each other most of the times. Mr. Patel has stressed how technology has taken the center stage in marketing and strategy. Of course, he is practicing it into the banking sectors and to the financial sectors though. Then coming to Dr. Das, Dr. Satya Hussain Das, who is very beautifully stressed on challenges being faced by around 40 to 80% of the people in the digital age, though we go with a lot many innovations and revolutions in this field, but still in the rural areas, if you go, that there are 40 to 80% people who are trying to struggling to get the maximum benefit out of the digital disruption, though I should call it digital eruption. Okay, thankfully being mentioned by Mr. Nitin, I'll come to it at the end. Okay, then my sincere thanks goes to Dr. Rishi, who has very, very efficiently and effectively moderated the whole session, okay, coordinated and moderated the whole discussion, panel discussion by putting questions, very, very relevant questions to all the eminent personalities on board. Now moving to the second panel discussion of today, which was around the holistic marketing in the digital era, where we had Professor Kohler, who has stressed on how internal and societal social marketing are adding values to the holistic marketing process, followed by Professor Agrawal, who has highlighted, of course, he has talked about many things, but one key point which I have taken from him is the EPS, the earning per share, which he has highlighted. That is the wonderful, key value additions to the entire content today. Thank you so much, Professor Agrawal, for putting this forward. Then Mr. Faizan, my very dear own friend, my student, who has very candidly highlighted the multiple digital platforms, and most important, he has highlighted that in every sphere, whether it is media, whether it's marketing, whether it's finance, banking, or any other field, trust is the most important factor. We should keep it with us, which is going to take us, irrespective of the situation, though we are digitally evolving, revolving, erupting, or whatever it is. If there is no trust, I think these technological elements are not going to help us. Okay. Then we had Mr. Vinay, who has, he has candidly put forward his point of view on how marketing intervention is changing, how marketing revolution is changing, specifically to the media industries, which is highlighted. And at the end, I would like to take this opportunity to thank Mr. Nitin, who has beautifully portrayed, how the healthcare sector has embraced digital transformation, digital revolution. And I'm thankful to him that he has given a new terminology. Since morning, we were discussing about the digital disruptions, marketing disruptions. But thankfully, he has given a new name that it should be interchangeably used as the digital eruption. I really like the term you used, Mr. Nitin, and thank you so much for being with us today in this market. And I do take this opportunity, because I never leave any opportunity whenever it comes to me. I do take this opportunity to thank each one of you, especially to my two dear students. I call them the young managers. of Jaipuria School of Business, Saini and Ayushi, you have done a fantastic, fabulous job today. Thank you so much, and keep rising, keep increasing your horizon. Okay. Now I believe Dr. Nitin is there to thank officially to everyone, but my sincere appreciation to each one of you, those who are directly and indirectly being associated with this.
Thank you, sir, for summarizing the entire learnings from the conclave. Now, I would like to request Director Sir for presenting the token of gratitude to our guest of honor.
Please go ahead.
Professor Mohan Lal Agarwal, President of Indo Gulf Marketing Association, Dubai. Mr. Nitin Sharma, Marketing Leader, India and South Asia, BD Medical Pharma Systems.
Thank you, Nitin. This is for you.
We have with us Dr. Nitin Kr Saxena, Associate Professor, Marketing at Jaipuria School of Business, who is a teacher by instinct, researcher by training, and a trainer by experience. He has 17 years of experience in companies like Vodafone, Reliance Communications, Idea Cellular, and HCL. He has done his PhD in brand management and has received Best PhD Thesis Award at 15th International Conference organized by PIMR Indore in collaboration with Northeastern Federal University, Russia, Synergy University, Mexico, and Mississippi University, USA. He has also been awarded as the Best Professor in Marketing Analytics during ICBM AMP Academics Excellence Award, Hyderabad. Dr. Saxena is a certified case teaching professional by IIM Ahmedabad and Harvard Business Publishing. I request Dr. Saxena to propose the vote of thanks to our guest. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Shaini, for this wonderful introduction. Dear Mr. Nitin Sharma, a guest of honor for the valedictory session, Professor Mohan Lal Agarwal, President, Indo-Gulf Marketing Association, respected Director Sir, Dr. Tapan Kumar Nayak, Professor U.M. Amin, people from Marketing Lobby, a reverent academicians, my faculty colleagues, and young future leaders. It's my privilege to propose vote of thanks on this occasion. In my capacity as the conclave convener, I, on behalf of entire Jaipuria School of Business family, extend my hearty thanks to all the speakers for sharing their valuable insights today with us. A big thank you to Mr. Nitin Sharma for sparing his valuable time and sharing his experience and knowledge with us. Your concept, eruption of new marketing era, is something which we will take it forward for our future research and discussions. We are also grateful to Professor Mohan Lal Agarwal for his constant efforts and collaboration in making this event successful. I express my sincere thanks to our Director Sir, Dr. Tapan Kumar Nayak, for his support, motivation, guidance in conceptualizing the event and delivering the same. Thank you, sir, for trusting us and getting best out of us. I also thank you, Professor U.M. Amin, for your presence and words of wisdom. And I remember your words that this type of sessions are the spiritual meetings of us with knowledge and wisdom. Further, I extend my hearty thanks to Ms. Khushbu for her constant support and coordination. I would also like to take this opportunity to place on record a hearty thanks to the faculty members, staff members, and the entire students of our Jaipuria School of Business, and to Shantiji, Mukulji, and the entire IT support team. And last but not the least, the future aspiring managers, Ayushi Kansal and Shaini Goyal, for successfully comparing the entire event. So once again, thank you so very much. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. Dear audience, like all good things come to an end, it is the time to bid adieu to our International Marketing Conclave 2022. However, we assure you that this is not the end, but a new beginning towards the disruptive marketing era. Thank you all.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you so much.